Okay, so I think we can start now. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back in the COVID-19 conference, which is a list of programs that help you in many ways to cope with COVID-19. So our lecture today would be by Dr. Aisha Aldawsari, yeah? Who will be talking to us today regarding how to cope with COVID-19, especially for youth. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Aisha on behalf of As-Salatul Mustaqim Islamic Center. And thanks so much, Dr. Aisha, for coming today. And it's our pleasure for having you today.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my presentation. Before I start, I would like to thank you for inviting me for this great conference. And I believe that it's really important to talk about stress because we live in a global pandemic that have been there, like we're almost here, and I believe that stress is we live in a stressful time, especially for youth. So as a coach, I have seen so many people since the start of this pandemic. They are worried. They are worried about, especially parents. They are worried how they can navigate working from home, taking care of their children, and just living in the unknown. And this is true also for youth who are being pulled away from their daily, I would say, lifestyle, and it is really very hard for us. That's why I'm here to give you this presentation. Hopefully you will end up with some tools that can help you really not, I would say, not managing stress per se, but how can you understand how our thoughts can provoke this stress, and how can we use some tools that help us to try to take the stress to our positive side, and just trying to adjust and cope with maintaining our I would say normal lifestyle. So I would start with giving you an outline about our content for today. I'll give you an introduction in general about stress, what are the emotions that we have been experiencing nowadays. And I would like to acknowledge the work of engineering Wafa, and that she presented yesterday about stress, and she did really a great job. I attended that lecture, and I would suggest anyone who wants to understand what happens to our body when we experience stress to refer to that lecture, because it talks in details about what stress does to our system. And also Dr. Sorry, I have his name here. Dr. Abdul Wahid, I believe. Yes, Abdul Wahid, sorry. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He opened this conference in the first day. He did a presentation also about stress, and he talked in details about what stress does to our system. I would also refer to his lecture. For this reason, I'm not going to go deep in understanding the stress, but I will just briefly explain about the stress. And this one is not working. Okay. And I will also, my main presentation will provide you with practical tools. How can you, I would say, adjust with stress? What can you do? And these practical tools that I want to talk about, it can apply like parents, if there are parents that are watching us right now, you can use them with your children. You can coach them actually, following the guidelines of each tool, which will eventually help them to overcome this difficult time. And also, if you are youth and you are watching us right now, you can definitely use those practical tools. They're very straightforward, and you just need the time and efforts to put on those worksheets. And also, I will remind you to have a pen and paper. You might take some notes as well. And if there will be a time at the end, if there's a time, I would be happy to provide a live coaching session. And for that, I will need a volunteer. But let's leave it to the end to see how we go with the time. Then I will provide some resources where I will post some resources here in Ontario that you can use in case if you need help with, if you are experiencing stress and anxiety and you need somebody to talk to, you don't know what to do, or guidance, even for parents, if you need help and more resources, or somebody even just to speak on the phone, to guide you through this difficult time with your children, you can refer to that as well. Then we will end up with a conclusion. So in our current time, how many people, of us that are experiencing that, our rights have been violated, we are experiencing low self-worth, our expectations are not being met, and we really live in a world that our future is unknown. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. And I'm sure most of us, and I've seen this in my family and my client, I experienced this as well too, especially this this time of year, that all of this, what I'm experiencing. So in science, when a human being, like we are born free, and we've been practicing our freedom, and we've been taking for granted actually our freedom, nobody can violate about our freedom. And now with this, since the start of, not really since the start, like if we go back to March and let's live that experience, we go back and this pandemic hit us. And we didn't know what's going on. We don't know what's this virus. We don't know what's the school system were shut down, and the government asked us just to stay home and not to leave. And we were scared from everybody, like our neighbors that every day we would say, good morning, hi, we are afraid even to talk to, because we were afraid that, the transmission of this virus, and we didn't know at that time what this virus is also. So that right of, we didn't know at that time what this virus is. Oh, sorry. That right, our right have been violated. And when a human being, their right is violated, they experience some kind of anger. You become angry. You're upset. Like, this is my life. Why I cannot leave home? Why I cannot talk to my friends? Why I don't see them? Why I don't go to my sport and play with my team? And also, when a human being feel like they're experiencing low of self-worth, they become sad. They become sad because they don't. When they look at themselves in the mirror, they feel like their self-esteem down. They don't feel they are up like here. And I want to give an example of this. If somebody during COVID, has been laid off and they can't work anymore, or they were like working full time, and as a result of the closure and everything, the economy was shut down. They don't work full time. They were working part time. So they feel sad because they were here and now they are here, and this is normal, I would say, emotional reaction to what's going on right now. I don't want to sound that this is abnormal or don't be angry or don't be sad. No, be angry, be sad, be frustrated, because unfortunately this is the time we live in right now. But it is very important that you know how to deal and adjust to what we are going through right now. And this is us human. Like I believe as Aisha, not as a coach, as Aisha, that we are born to adapt and adjust. Wherever we go, we have the abilities, like we are capable to adapt. So it is okay to feel angry, it's okay to feel sad. And when we look at your expectation are never met, yeah, I said frustration. And the last point is future threat. When you feel like your future is unknown, our certainty that we have been taken for granted for many years, we're working from here to here, and we have 5 years plan ahead of us. Then COVID-19 hit us, and now we live in uncertainty. Our certainty that we used to have, it's not valid anymore. So this really caused us to have anxiety and fear. We are afraid. We are afraid of the future, because we live in a very critical moments in our life. So for my presentation, I want to say that you can choose how you view the world. And in this presentation, I'm not forcing you guys, okay, but really I would recommend that when you think about this glass of water, I want you to think like this guy who's drinking the whole glass, then at the end he said, oh, I can see that there is 0.1% full, and as opposed to the other guy who's angry here and he's saying, no, I can see it's 99.9% empty. No, I want you for this presentation to focus on the full half of the glass, and stay this way until the end. So stress, as I said, engineering Wafa, she did a great job in explaining stress and what stress does to our body. And I just want to emphasize on, she mentioned, Dr. Engineering Wafa, she mentioned something very important. She said, it's a natural way of reaction. We live, stress lives among us. Stress in Arabic هو الضغوطات, لما نحس إنه إحنا مضغوطين من everywhere. And before COVID, there were people who complained of being stressed out, being burned out. It's just the way of life. If you work, if you have children, if you are financially not stable, all of these factors can impose stress in our body. And when we think about our youth, imagine, like, I understand for parents, for much matured people, they are, and they have the right to feel stressed out. But when we talk about youth, if you can imagine youth, what in their life, what is their life about? It's about lifestyle. And most of them, they go to school, then after they hang out with their friends, a lot of them, they join, they are part of a sport team. It is the time where they live their optimal, I would say, life. And the relationship with their friends is really very important at this age. And that age period is about building their community, their people with whom they will hang out. And imagine all of the sudden the government told them, no, you cannot leave your home, you have to quarantine. I had a client that he had to quarantine with his cousins, and he felt that there is no freedom. He felt that he's being forced to stay with people that he doesn't like. And those youth, their whole education system has been transformed to an online and virtual system. And that really was frustrated for them. And that whole changed in their lifestyle. It's really, it's their body automatically will react in that way, stressed. I'm stressed out. And as a result of being stressed, when those youth experience kind of, they react to it in different emotions. But I want you to remember that we're going to survive. That's the whole thing about my presentation today. Not really, but really, this is the message I want to deliver today for our youth. Hug each other's. We're gonna pass this time. Yes, we understand how hard it is. We live in this time of, of this world, but at the end, let's hug each other's and believe that we're all gonna go through this. We're gonna live through this. And this is my whole presentation is about. I'm going to give you, I want you to understand, before I talk about the tools, I want you to understand something. This is very important to understand. And I chose to talk about this cognitive distortion because this time during COVID, all people are doing are thinking. We are being manipulated, I would say, by our thoughts. How we are processing the information. When COVID hit us, imagine the social media full of news. You don't know what is right, what is wrong. And we have been consuming too much information that it goes, those information, even if you don't consciously, I would say, think about them, they are here in your brain. But the brain is processing what's going on. It's processing every information or every events that someone will experience. So cognitive distortion. Before I talk about cognitive distortion, I want to explain how do we process what's going on around us? How do we react to those things? How do you see the world? So we have this brain. Now, for example, and I'm gonna always refer to COVID-19 because this is where, this is valid now. This is what we have been going through. So when, let's say COVID-19 happens, how our brain reacts? Our brain will take this, will try to interpret this COVID-19 with a series of thoughts. And it's like having internal dialogue with itself, trying to connect what's going on. And those thoughts are coming from, around, from the news, from the event itself, from yourself. Also, how do you think about it? Then those thoughts our feelings will be created by those thoughts. Our mood, how our mood will react, because when you have this brain, your brain is busy interpreting what's going on, right away we will start to feel we will start to react to those thoughts as a result of this interpretation. But I want you to understand something very important. Our mood, the emotions that we will experience after, the brain done his job, it's not necessarily reflect the actual events. It will reflect how our brain processed and interpret those thoughts. And another thing you need also to understand that what really influence the way our brain, how our brain interpret our thinking. I will give an example to just clarify this. In a survey, there's a survey, very interesting survey done by a mental health institution of Ontario, and they did survey youth about their experiences during COVID, how they adapt, what did they do. And there were people that were saying that we felt that we want to die. There was, societal thinking. They felt that this thing is not gonna, it's not gonna be over. We're all gonna die, and this thing. And but there was there were other people that they were saying, you know what? We took the opportunities to relax. They were more resilient. They were talking about from the point of view that yes, we understand this is dangerous. This is, a very hard moment, but we're gonna go through this. They had that acceptance. They said, we all gonna go, we all on the same boat, the whole, world. So we're gonna get this, we're gonna beat this virus, and our life will get back to normal. What I wanna say, the point I wanna deliver here, what is the difference? Why these people here interpret their brain interpret the thoughts differently than people here? There is very important factors that you need to understand. What really influence our perception to this world is our environment, the people that we live in. If you live with people that they believe that we're gonna die, everybody gonna die. Every day you wake up, you hear your parents, or you hear, your best friends, or you read the news, oh, we're gonna die, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. This will affect you, will influence how you're gonna view the world. The second thing that is really important, if you have past experiences, like if you have, you lost a family member or a friend as a result of COVID, it is really, you're not gonna believe that it's really hard. You might, but it's really hard. The possibility that you will say, yeah, I'm gonna die, like, my best friend or my, it's really hard to be positive, I would say, or to view the word differently at that time. And also past memories or past experiences. If you lived through tough experience that, you experience death, you experience sickness, you were surrounded with people that they were sick as a result of a virus or something, previous, pandemics, it will affect your thinking process. And this is what does cognitive distortion mean. Cognitive distortions means when your brain is busy, having internal dialogue, process interpreting the events, it always lean towards the negative side. You will, as a result of this interpretations, you will have negative negative reaction. You would cry, you will feel sad, you will feel anxiety. And when our brain or our thinking process is being distorted, I would say, it will lead to consequences such as depression and anxiety. And also you might experience stress-related illness such as insomnia, headache, you have stomach problems. You might get isolated. You might take the wrong way to adapt and adjust, which is addiction. You might have eating, your pattern of eating has changed. Either you overeat or you don't eat at all. And this will lead to one conclusion, which is helplessness. So now I will talk about the tool. And if you want to draw pen and paper, you can take notes. So the first thing I would say for parents, you can apply this to your youth again, to your children, sorry. And for youth, you can really use these tools as a way to adapt, I would say, and as a way to really be close to your with your goals and achievements. So you have to ask yourself, you have to check first. You have to check and you have to be ready. You check on yourself, because when you ask yourself, where are you right now? And it's really interesting. This question, I always use it with my client on the first conversation, like, where are you right now? Because this will give me a clue, and if you ask yourself, will give you a clue about your status right now, because we care about now. We care about now so we can have good consequences in the future. So you have to ask yourself, where are you right now? So you use this is a checklist. You use them, you read the statement. If it does apply to you, you just check. This is what you have to do for now. So the first thing, and here and you have to have a situation like, and here we are talking about COVID-19. So let's keep COVID-19 on our mind. So you ask yourself, you read the statement, all or nothing thinking, which means that you look at things in absolute black and white categories. If that's apply for you, related to COVID, you just check. The second statement is overgeneralization. You view a negative event as a never-ending pattern of defeat. And this is like you're saying, everyone gonna die. Everyone tomorrow, nobody gonna live. Everyone gonna die. You check. If not, you just pass it. The third one, you dwell on the negative and ignore the positive. And here, just think about the example, the survey that I mentioned earlier. That, people who were here, let's say A, they were like saying, no, this virus is very dangerous. We're not gonna go through this. And B, they were saying, we took this time just to reflect and relax and spend time with family and this stuff. So people who are experiencing cognitive distortion, they will lean to the negatives and ignore the positive. This is what this statement means. So if it doesn't apply to you, just click. If not, just leave it. Discounting the positives. You insist that your accomplishments don't count. And this is an example of this. For example, during COVID, you're being asked to do your school virtually. And you're sitting there and you said, you know what, Mom, I'm not gonna sign in. There is no point. So I don't believe in online learning. I'm not gonna achieve anything. I'm not gonna study. I'm not gonna pass. I'm not gonna understand my math. So this is what does this statement mean. Emotional reasoning. You reason from how you feel, like I don't feel like doing this. And this is where it might lead to isolation. You just, you feel like you're fatigued, you don't feel to do anything. And this is really a very important sign to note. Should statements. You criticize yourself or other people with should. Like, you wake up, you say, Mom, you should not leave the house. Mom, if you leave the house, you're gonna get the virus and it's gonna come to us. Those kind of thinkings. So if you identify one or two, or as a parent, you think your child having one or two, you should go to this. You should do this exercise next. So you ask your child, or if you are you do it in yourself, you say, what should I do? This is what you should do. If you identified one or two of those, the checklist that I provided, you know what, when the thought came to your mind. For example, in our example, COVID-19, when do you experience, for example, the overgeneralization? When do you say everyone gonna die? Is it when you go on Facebook and check on your friends, you see the status and stuff? Or is it when you hear your parents talking about something related to COVID? When does this thought come to your mind? And you just write. This is really writing exercise. You just write and write and write. And if you don't like writing, just record your responses. Record the question and the answer. Then the second thing, what led to this event? So if we take the example of COVID-19, you think about what led to this event. You go back, this helps you to go back to the facts, how this COVID happened. And this question really will take you to check the reliability of the source. So you're not gonna go to Facebook or social media to look for the source. No, you will go back to the originality, and you will maybe you will read scientific paper, or you discuss that with your parents that you really trust that they have, I would say, valid information. Then you ask this question: what caused these feelings, thinking to show up? When this thinking show up? Is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon? Is it when you are upset about something? Is it when you wake up in the middle of the night? It's very important to know this stuff. Then think about the opposite. Here is where change is happening. And this might not be this exercise, right? This exercise, you will feel how powerful it is when you practice it. If you practice it, you'll feel the power. You will feel like you're writing things or you're recording things and you're examining past experience, the lived one that it never happens or came into your conscious. You never thought about it. But when you reflect to your pre-reflective experiences, you'll be able to dig that inner self of you. It will come and it will show up and you will be able to see your inner self and to have that dialogue. So think about the opposite, like past experiences. And think about your past experience. When did you experience same feelings or emotional reactions as now? And dig deep and ask yourself why there is commonality between these reactions, why it's happening the same. And this will help you to dig deep into yourself, how you really have control on your thinking. Then the last thing is reflect on the outcomes. And the outcomes, you will be able to come up at the end with maybe one statement. Why am I reacting the way I am right now? So the second thing that you need, some people, like I have some clients, it's really hard for them to do that, even with me, like with a coach, it's really hard for them to do that exercise. They are not really at the stage where they're ready to delve, I would say, deep into their inner self and bring it on the surface. They're not ready to do that. So this is, but they know the importance of that exercise, and they want to manage their stress. They want to really to have that control on their thinking and the way they react to situations and events. So a choice. So here, when you use a tool that help you to make that choices. And some people that will say that, oh, it looks like we don't have that many choices here and options. What you're talking about? No, you do. You do. Inside every one of us, if you delve deep in yourself and you reflect in your experiences and who you are, you will. There is a hidden choice set that you need to bring it up. It is not easy to bring it up, but you will eventually. So this is one of the exercise that really I find it helpful to help you just to delve deep in yourself and help you really to have that control and that choice list. So you can write this statement: I want to be in the moment, as a headline. Then you ask yourself, in the moment of what? Which moment that you wish to be in? Think about, and these questions and on the screen will help you to think about what do you want right now? So ask yourself some question that might help you. What is my life is about at this stage? What is the path that I am on in my life? What is the meaning of my life? And this is very powerful question. It will take you to now to discover your strengths, to discover your purpose in life. What do you want from this life? And this might be difficult at this time when you think about COVID, but trust me, your whole life might change as a result of this question. What is the meaning of my life? Because if you know your purpose right now in this critical time, that purpose will be, it's going to be like a vehicle. You will, it will help you to go to your future, towards your goals, no matter what struggles. Let's think about, you are in a car and that car is your purpose. And it's a big truck. And you go through mountains, you go through, snowstorms, you go through, I don't know, you pass GANs and, and that car will protect you. That purpose will protect you to reach your desires and your future future goals. Then the second statement that you can write, I want to be in the moment, but. And here you will think about the obstacles that you're facing, constraints, and you ask yourself, this is one of the questions that help you to really help you elaborate more in your experience. What is that you are battling? And you need to be really very honest for yourself to come up with a list that you can use. Then the last statement is what if. And this is where, this is very powerful when you think about it. This is where I want you to walk. This is the action actually. Like for example, if you write, I want to be in the moment of putting same efforts like before in my school, practicing my basketball like before. Then when it comes to, I want to be in the moment, but what I would ask this client, I would ask this you, what is it that you are battling? And what I'm implying here, I want them to reflect on why you are not putting same efforts as before into your school, why you can't practice your basketball, what is really that constrain you. Then the what if, for example, if he says, I feel like I don't believe in online school anymore. So I don't feel like I don't feel when I put my efforts there, I feel like it's going in vain, like I'm not gaining anything. So the what if, the client, the youth, or the parents have to come to this as an action. Like, what if, for example, I maintain same, I would say, routine as before, as I am going in a class. I imagine that I will have the power to imagine that, you know, I'm in real classmates, I'm in physical, sorry, face-to-face classes, and I'm gonna, one day I'm gonna see, what if I have that power to imagine just to pass this time and be in, live in the moment of, you know, of the experiences that I want to. Let's check the time. Oh, okay. So I think I have 2 slides to go. And this is a very straightforward tool that you can also use. And I love this quote. It says, when one door closes, another door opens. But we so often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we don't see the ones which open for us. And this is really true. We have to approach our, especially now, our life experiences with positivity. We have to dig deep and think about the things that we can open as a result of the COVID closes our I would say normal life. We have there are, and we have to believe that there are, and we have to look for it. There are other doors that might open as a result of this. And you can start by listing by this statement, an important door. You have to think about an important door that closed on you during COVID. For example, I had a client that talks about his dancing team, that it was canceled and it's really important for him. That door was closed. And at the same time, you put all your efforts on the doors that open as a result of that closure. You list them, and this list will help you to just view your life. You will have your life in front of you, and you will be able to see where you should put your efforts. Should I think about the door that was closed that I don't know if it's going to open soon, or should I look for the doors that might open as a result of that thing? and it won't open magically. You have really to delve into yourself, bring your values on the table, your strengths, focus on your strengths to be able to think about other route that you can take to reach your goals. And here is the resources that you can refer to if you need, like, if you are a parent and you need some help to talk to somebody for guidance, you can use this list as well. And if you are a youth, you can also refer to this as well. So the first one is the Canadian Mental Health Association, and this association provides programs and focus on mental health. If you have anxiety, you feel like you're stressed out, there's a hotline that you can talk to them. And Young Street Mission, same thing, but this is a smaller institution. And if you go also to this website, interview.ca, then you go to the health and wellness. Then you click the healthcare options. You can put your postal code, and it can give you all the resources that are close to you besides the hotlines that you can use. And find a coach. If you feel like you want to talk to somebody, a parent or youth, and you need somebody to help you really, just to hold your hands and walk you through the process to just live through this difficult time, you can find a coach. And yeah, that's the end of my presentation. And this is my business card. If you have any question, and if you want me to share the tools that I have, I can post them in the Facebook page of the Sirat Mustaqim, or you can email me, and I'll be very happy to send them to you. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aisha. It was a pleasure meeting you, actually, and the session was very, very helpful. Thank you so much for the information and for the tools. So yeah, as you said, if anyone wants to join and have a session with Dr. Aisha, you could always email her or email us Mustaqim on Facebook or on our website. So if or unmute your mic. And I will be checking the Facebook if there's any questions on there. Yeah, so there's one question. So how can students manage their stress with their studies?
Students manage their stress with their studies. I think that question, again, it goes back. Stress is always there, right? And there are so many ways of managing. And I think one of the best way is having a routine. I'm not sure if that student go to school is different, of course, than student. Let's assume that the student is staying home. I think you need to really create an environment that looks really like school, which I mean that, even in the living room, like a corner where there is a table, there is, a chair, and students have to maintain that discipline when there is studying time, not necessarily like school time or, virtually like they are contacting school. No, even in school time, like if they are doing homework, just let them learn that there is a discipline for it. They need to sit down and do their homework, and that the routine really helps students, and it depends on their age too, but it really helps students to manage their stress.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and also I want to add something. I just remembered something that they need also to have a break, like the school system. Try to maintain same routine as the school. They will have, a break where they can go and I don't know, like walk. They do their own thing, and they will have lunch break where they will have lunch. Then after that they come back, and it's really important from parents also to talk to their children. Um, I mean, in terms of instead of the question itself is very powerful. Like we tend to not really put efforts on the way we ask the question. Like instead, like of saying, "How was your school?" This is really like an open-ended question. The child will say, "Okay, good or bad," right? But instead, you can ask your child, like, what did you learn in school? This an open question that will help students to think, to will help them to reflect back and talk about things that might not even related to the school itself, about the other things. Like maybe the child will say, I don't know, I felt bored, for example, when I was studying, or I had headache, that was weird. Here, that open dialogue will help the parents to dig deep into their child, and hopefully, just by talking and venting, that will bring the stress down.
Yeah, thank you so much. That actually leads to the second question, which is how, if a teen is like not engaging in family conversations, or in not engaging with anyone, basically just on their phone, how can you approach this teen?
Oh, Tian, you know what? Just give them space. I won't go further. You just like this age. This is what like in me and scientific way. This age, they always wanna have their space, and they are trying to, um, I would say, to have like friends for them is more important than their family. That's the truth. The truth at this age. I would suggest that you give them space. Whenever you go to their room, for example, you knock on the door, you go. If he's like, ask him, like, can I talk to you? I'm worried. I have a concern. Can I talk? If he says no, say, okay, I'll give you like 3 hours. Then I'll have to talk to you, for example, before, like, give them that time limit. That will show them that you're respecting their time, even though like you're a parent, and you don't have that authorship relationship. That will give the teen feelings of safety, and it will give them a power, because before the 3 hours ends, he might come to you and say, okay, like, what you wanted. And here you can have that conversation. And I would suggest, regarding the technology and stuff, this is where the generation, we live with this and we have to accept this. This is something common now. It's the trend, right? And just try to explain to them the consequences, like the health consequences, I would say. What happened to their vision might affect their vision. It might, help them to feel isolated. They're missing so much time, in the house around. And try to come up with a strategy that you cooperate with your child to come up with a list, like when he needs, to turn off his phone, or how long, like for example, in the morning, if you want to stay in your phone, like, can we agree we stay for 1 hour or half an hour? That kind of things. It takes time, it takes efforts, but it will work.
Thank you so much. Also, there is another question. So, what can you do to your son if you see that they're doing something wrong, but they don't listen to you saying it's wrong?
Again, it depends on the age, but I find it, even with my children, I find it really helpful. You need to lower yourself to their level. For example, if I'm here and my child is, I go down, or I sit down with him. That that face-to-face conversation really implies that you want to understand. I want to understand your son. Like, you don't have to say it. Oh, he will, like, unconsciously, like, it will happen to when he see you. You will feel safe if he sees his mother, his parent, like in the same on the same level, he will open up. So, and always approach your son with the consequences. Like, you know what, you're my son. I'm not mad at you, but I'm afraid that, you know, this will cause this 1, 2, 3, 4. He might not listen at the beginning, on the first time, I mean, at the first time. But the second time, the third time, teach. This is the really I would recommend every parent to do. حاوروا أولادكم، هقولها بالعربي، حاوروهم، عودوهم إنه في حوار، عودوهم if you do something wrong، يعني مهما كان كبير هذا الشيء، you need to come and talk to me. I'm the one who's going to protect you. But if you scream or you, you know, you give them that look, even that look like, you know, that, wow, how did you do that? Next time they won't trust you. Have that dialogue with them, حوار, free punishment, free consequences, kill action, but he needs to understand. Like, for example, if he did something, I don't know, like anything wrong, it depends on the age, you go and talk to them. If you feel that thing that the child did, she needs a punishment, you have to explain the punishment for, like a judge. You have to tell me you did this and this and this. As a result, I'm going to do this and this to you. You don't push, you don't, you know, scream, you don't say, oh, because I'm your parent, I'm going to do this. No, have that الحوار عن جد يعني helps a child to trust you, and it will من جد help you in the future to maintain that friendship relationship with your children. It is hard. I'm not saying it's easy. Okay, I'm a mom and I do it with my children, and it is hard. Sometimes I cannot do it, but it is very hard. But this is really, and this time, like at this time, this generation, they really, what they need from you is to feel safe, because المغريات كثيرة now we live in an open world. Like, you cannot protect them from, you know, they use this, they have this has everything, and you cannot watch them all the time. So حط الأمان فيهم، خليهم they trust you. No matter what happened to them, they will come back to you and talk. And توكلوا على الله، يعني استودعوهم رب العالمين.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think there's a last question. Actually, the way how we can help our children learning, especially online. How can you help the children's learning, especially online?
Online learning? It depends. It depends how old are they. Can you ask her how old? Because if they're like in elementary school, you have
an elementary school.
Elementary, yeah, great. There are so many programs. I would ask their teacher, because I know teachers, they have that. I think what they call it. I don't know what they call it, but I think they have some deals with some of the apps developer, that they have like education, because you can't trust any website. You cannot trust any app that says, you know, teach your child this and this and that. You don't know what is the hidden agenda in that website, and you don't know what it serves, right? Because it's like, you cannot trust any source. So I would suggest that you go back to the teacher, just to email her or him, email the school and ask them like, what, you know, how can I support my child's learning through during the holidays? And I am sure they will send you a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much. Also, is there...
De las chicas soy su favorito, wow. Todas dicen que me aman, todas me quieren en su cama.
Sorry. Okay, so is there specific skills that parents or kids or youth should have to manage their stress levels and to like manage their life? Specific skills they need to acquire?
Yes, I would recommend every parent to teach, or not really teach, train, I would say. Have that like every day, like for 1 hour, ask your child to invite them. Say, you know what, let's come, let's talk together, let's write. if you teach it's very important to teach your children how to reflect, how to journal, because they will learn through journaling. And this journaling thing, some people they are passionate, they have that passion towards journaling, they love journaling, and a lot of people they don't. So if you feel like your child doesn't like, to journal or write, just invite them and just do it by yourself, because at this age you have to be a real model. Even if you think like, even if you feel like you don't like writing, just act, take it, just to help your child develop this skills. Because I feel it's really important for youth, it's really important for them to learn how to reflect. And by learning how to reflect, by asking powerful questions, like ask your child, like, just evoke that thinking on him. Like, for example, tell him, think about something that, last year you did that you were so grateful about. And imagine, that conversation, where it's gonna lead you. It's gonna lead you, like, you're gonna discover new things that you never heard about before. And if you hear something that you never heard before, don't tell your child, oh, you didn't tell me that. No, just, sound that you're interesting, and, just keep asking questions. Listen, I would say just be active listener. And what I mean by active, you're actively listening to your child, not just focus on what he's telling you. And when you want to ask a question, just try to fire back the question from the way he's telling you the story, like, the content that he's giving you, the information. Take the question. If you actively listen to your child, the question that you will fire back to him, it has to be from his own experience. Just to keep, this is how you're gonna go, like, deep in his past experience, or you will teach him how to reflect deeply in his experience.
Yeah, thank you so much. So if anyone has any question, you could unmute your mic if you're in the Zoom, or on the Facebook page, you could also comment your question. I'm just gonna wait for 1 minute maybe. Okay, I think that's it for today. We don't have any more questions. Thank you so much today with us. Thank you so much. And remember, you can watch the session and all the other sessions.
Okay, thank you.
SMIC.ca. Thank you so much. ونراكم غدا إن شاء الله مع دكتورة زينب الشرقاوي لتحدثنا عن كيف يمكن لمعلم القرآن أن ينجح في تدريس القرآن وعلومه في فقرة اسمها نحو جيل قرآني بقرآن نحيا. جزاكم الله خيرا. جزاك الله خيرا دكتورة عائشة.